Hey everybody, welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devon.
And today we are going to be talking about the 1986 film, Labyrinth. But before we get into that, we got some business to take care of. So news broke this afternoon, right before we went live, that Norm Macdonald has passed away. I have the story here on my phone. He evidently passed away at the age of 61 after a 9-year battle with cancer.
Wow.
Yeah. You guys just read the headline, didn't you?
No, I read more.
Okay.
Yeah, I found out.
Yeah, so Norm Macdonald's one of those guys. He was the SNL Weekend Report anchor, like right when I was starting to be aware of what SNL was. For me, he was always one of those guys that whenever you heard his voice in anything, you knew who it was and you knew what kind of character you were going to get. Does anything stand out for you guys from Norm Macdonald's career that you remember him from?
Mine are really easy. First, he is forever in my mind Turd Ferguson.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's always what I think of first. And the other one is, he had a brief and weird stint on The Fairly Odd Parents as another genie.
He did, yeah. Well, he was the genie to their Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, exactly. He was like their genie, I think.
Yeah, he showed up on there. Ryan, how about you? Anything from?
I remember him doing the news anchor thing on SNL, but I know him more for I know him more for doing the voiceovers and doing like the voice character acting than anything else. But yeah, he was just one of those guys you would see in the background of things, and he would just pop up randomly. I really loved his humor, and in fact, I didn't have the heart to go through with it, but I wanted to try to get you, Alan, to believe that my favorite thing of him was Treasure Hound, where he was the voice of a Jack Russell Terrier for a kid's movie that's got a 3.7 online, because I know that he would love somebody doing that, but I couldn't.
I was waiting for it too, because Ryan told me about it. I was like, here it comes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's one of those things where it's it was funny when I thought about it, and then I started talking. I'm like, I can't do it. But
the man's dead, Ryan.
Still, yeah, I know. But he would appreciate it, though. You know what I mean?
Soon.
He would definitely. The reason why I liked his sense of humor was because he would appreciate someone lying their ass off about loving some dumb kids movie that he did.
That's true.
That was a sense of humor.
Yeah, and he did a lot of he did the gambit. We already talked about that kids movie that you're mentioning, and Devon mentioned the Fairly Odd Parents. I know him from the Dr. Dolittle movies because he plays the dog in the Eddie Murphy Dr. Dolittles. Yep. Evidently, they made 5 or 6 of those, and he's in all of them as the dog. So Eddie Murphy said no to 3 on, but Norm Macdonald and Caleb Pratt did all of them. So good for them. He's known on IMDb for Billy Madison, The Animal, Dirty Work. I remember the Norm Show was on, or I think it was just called Norm, was on after the Drew Carey Show for a bit there on ABC. So really big loss. So we just wanted to pay tribute to him here at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah. So moving on from that, have you guys watched anything in the last week?
I watched nothing, by the way. I don't know what I do with my life, but every time you ask if I watch something, I'm like, did I just sit for a week?
Yeah, you're busy. I take it.
Yeah.
You do have something coming up here in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of time.
That we haven't really talked about much on the show. But you're getting you're getting married here soon.
I am.
So
I am. I'm so excited. It's going to be the first week in October, and it's going to be in Paris. There's a lot to arrange.
Yeah. Yeah. Sadly, Ryan and I won't be able to make it. We have a podcast to do. So.
So that's right, guys. I'll live stream it for our Twitch channel.
Yeah. Ooh, wait. Well, friend of the show Chad's going to be there. So.
Friend of the show Chad will be there.
So maybe we'll have him do that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Ryan, how about you? Have you watched anything?
I watched Malignant, if I'm pronouncing that movie name right.
I think you are.
Maleficent.
Yeah. Malignant, but no, I'm not going there. Anyway,
like a tumor.
Yeah. So it's considered a horror/thriller, which I feel like it lives up to that. You remember how I had you guys watch what was the one with the Jewish exorcism? I can never remember the name of it.
Yes. What was it called?
And you know how you guys were saying how, like, it's kind of more of a fun movie that just happens to be a little scary? You know how we kind of landed on that, like, description of it? Like, it's a fun movie, it just happens to be kind of a horror film. Mm-hmm. That's how this movie is, but it's a ton of fun. I don't know how else to describe it. It is fun. It is painfully obviously obvious with what, like, the whole twist is. Mm-hmm. So Kristen and I saw it happening like a mile away, but it's got like a creepy insane asylum. It's got somebody who doesn't know exactly what's going on in their own head. It's got family issues in it, and it's got everything you'd want, almost everything you'd want in like a horror movie. But it also has kind of like enough ridiculousness in it after it gives you the twist to keep you watching, because you're like, oh no, that's just fun to watch.
Well, I'm looking, it's directed by James Wan, and like, he's good.
There's also a lot of videography. Is that the right?
Cinematography?
Yeah, there's a lot of that in it. That is actually really cool. Like, there's a lot of really cool camera shots in this. Enough for me to sit, and watch this movie and go, oh, Alan's going to love this scene. Or Devon's going to really like that. Or, both the guys are really going to like this one. Like, they do things with the camera, with angles and camera movement and following the characters occasionally. That's just really cool. Like,
this wasn't on my radar before, but it might have to be now.
Like, it is, like, I'll put it to you this way. If either one of you guys were, like, really, really big horror fans, I'd be like, don't really, take it, too serious. Yeah. But knowing how both of you are when it comes to horror, I think you guys will enjoy it for what it is.
Good. Did you watch it in theaters, Ryan?
No.
Oh, okay.
we watched this at home. Was
it HBO Max?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's how I'm gonna watch it then.
Yeah, no, it is almost 2 hours long. So at a certain point, Kirsten and I, we kind of looked at each other and said, "There's 40 minutes left to this. What else do they have to do? It's all wrapped up now." No, it wasn't all wrapped up.
The twist happened 10 minutes in. We're good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun, though.
I totally recommend it. If you are a serious horror fan, it's not a serious horror movie, or that's not how the director wanted it to be, or the director missed the mark on what he wanted it to be, but it's just fun.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to watch it now, because I think you've sold me on it.
I might check it out. I've been looking for something to watch because my wife and I finished Ted Lasso, so now we're caught up to the point where we have to wait for the new episodes.
Yeah.
Aww.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
it's also on Tubi. Sorry.
It's on.
It's also on Tubi too. Yeah, it's on Tubi.
What is Tubi?
It's one of those like free streaming apps you can download, and it's got like
cool.
It shouldn't be on Tubi. That's weird.
Well, then Google made a mistake.
Yeah.
then Google probably made a mistake.
Yeah.
But it's saying it's on Tubi.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would say it's not on Tubi because it's one of those Warner Brothers in theaters and HBO Max things. If it's on Tubi, if it's on Tubi, then I don't know what Warner Brothers strategy is.
Do they have one?
It's on Tubi. No, this isn't that movie. It's a different movie of the same name.
Oh, that's annoying. I hate those.
It's a different movie of the same name that was made in 2019. Google's getting confused.
We'll get into that later. Different movies with similar names. Just wait.
All right. Well, I think that's our cue to get into today's main topic, which is Labyrinth, starring David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly, directed by Jim Henson himself. This film was released in 1986 and is celebrating its 35th anniversary this year. When was it released? June 27th. So I don't know why they had the 35th anniversary screenings this weekend, but they did. So we're celebrating it now.
June?
So this is, like I said, a Jim Henson film. This is one of my wife's favorite. I think this is my wife's favorite movie of all time. So I got to be careful what I say about it on the podcast. Luckily, she can't hear what Devon has to say because I have a feeling which way this is gonna go.
Okay,
but she might listen to this later too. So my introduction to this movie though was not my wife; it was my cousin. She loved this movie. Every time we went out to visit, I remember watching this, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, I just didn't care enough to like actually pay attention to it. But since I've watched it like probably once a year with my wife, I've grown to have an appreciation for it, especially David Bowie, the late David Bowie, and all of the puppeteering stuff that I've learned more about through documentaries and like just behind the scenes stuff. I really appreciate what they do with this film. Ryan, what's your history with Labyrinth?
Well, I was introduced to Labyrinth by my first grade teacher. I forget her name. But I saw this movie probably 3 times every school year, starting in first grade going forward, because I always had some teacher who would play this whenever we weren't doing anything. So from first grade all the way to graduating high school, there was some teacher every school year that played this. And I remember liking it right from the get-go, mainly because like I watched The Dark Crystal when I was very young, so I have an appreciation for weird Muppet movies. But yeah, I mean, as I've gotten older, I still watch it, and it's one of Kristen's favorite movies, so, you know, we get the whole thing where we watch it at least maybe once or twice a year. An appreciation for the music as I've gotten older, and appreciation just for, like, the puppetry, too. But yeah, no, it's a pleasant movie for me.
Devon, that brings us to you. This is your first. This is supposed to be your week for the show, but when you revealed that you hadn't seen this and I was going to the theater to see it, we changed things around and now we're here. What did you think of Labyrinth?
I love aspects of this movie. I think the amount of creativity on display in this movie is amazing, and it the plot of girl goes in Labyrinth, girl has to get to end of Labyrinth. I was like, okay, this movie's an hour 45. That seems like a concept that's good for 20 minutes, and then it's just going to turn into like, look at the weird thing she sees. But it does such a good job of keeping that constantly entertaining and constantly upping the ante on the weird, wonderful, and interesting things she sees that I was on board for the whole ride. I think my biggest problem with it, and I did want to talk about it, is anything David Bowie. Anything. Except for his inclusion in the movie. Because I was sitting there thinking, who is the best actor to act alongside of Muppets? And my first thought was Tim Curry. And I go, I'll get to him later. And then my second one was David Bowie, I guess. So he acts well along with the Muppets. I don't know that I really understood his character. I don't remember a single song. I couldn't sing any of the songs to you at all. And I guess I did want to talk about the music with you guys at some point, because in my mind, for such a strong, creative, interesting movie, every time the songs actually happened, I just went, are we good? Are we done? Did we David Bowie enough to afford his paycheck?
Okay.
So that was it.
All right. Well, funny that you bring up David Bowie from the get-go. He was not the only singer considered for this role. Michael Jackson, Prince, and Mick Jagger were all considered, and Jim Henson preferred Sting for the role. Until his kids convinced him that David Bowie would be best suited for it. So
I can see it. I can definitely see it. I think otherwise it would turn I think Michael Jackson would have been too much. I think Sting would have been too I'm Sting about the whole thing. Like, he wouldn't have taken it as because you can tell David Bowie is acting, he is doing it in this movie.
Yeah, and even in 1986, Mick Jagger was just too old.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you said none of the musical numbers really stood out to you?
I think at one point David Bowie says, "Dance the magic dance."
Dance magic dance.
Yeah. I think that's all of it. I couldn't name another song. I know that the background music in this, every background riff sounds like the opening to another song. So there were 5 times in the movie I'm like, Jennifer Connelly gets a song, and then she just finished walking down the hallway and it never happened.
Jennifer Connelly doesn't get a song in a David Bowie movie. Sorry.
No, of course she doesn't.
No.
But no, I can't remember any of the other songs. I don't know why. I think it especially bothered me in the Escher stairway sequence when she was like, I gotta get my brother. This room is so weird. And then the whole time David Bowie's face is just to the left of the screen. And I don't know what emotion he's singing about, but I was like, I don't know what's happening. This is that was the weird part for me. Not any of the weird visuals, but just I guess we're forcing a Bowie song in this scene now.
I don't see it as forcing a Bowie song. I see it as just being a Jim Henson 80s movie. And that's a trope. That's a trope.
Well, and that's the thing that you guys need to keep in mind is I don't know Henson 80s movies. You guys are slowly introducing me to them. So I never grew up with Muppets. I'm just learning about Muppets now as a 31-year-old. And I mean, they're wonderful and I like them and I like how clever they all are.
Were you expecting Kermit the Frog to show up in this at some point?
No, but they had the orange things that were basically Kermit.
One of them was actually voiced by Elmo.
Really?
Yeah. The actor Kevin Clash, who no longer does Elmo, because he got in trouble a few years ago for stuff. They did a whole documentary about him before all that news broke. And they deep dove into that. That was one of his first big projects with the Henson Studio.
That's cool. I like that.
That number with the red guys.
Oh yeah. So if we're talking about number with the red guys, I do want to say some of the movie was weird. Some of the movie was interesting. That scene made me genuinely uncomfortable. I don't know what it was about it, but maybe it was the way the red guys were moving or the song that they were singing that I don't think I fully understood and could not sing a single note of it back to you now. But it generally gave me creeps.
Well, when I was younger, that was the one part of this movie that kind of creeped me out myself. Did you watch this with subtitles on or no? Because I know you do just occasionally.
Here's what kills me. I did. I watched it on Netflix over here with subtitles on, and every time a song happened, the subtitles went away.
Yeah, so when I watched it, it didn't go away. So
oh, good.
So it was a Buick music in the U.S. on Netflix actually shows the lyrics.
Oh, good. Okay.
Because that might be a British thing. I don't know.
It might be.
But they're pretty much talking about doing a fire dance, and it's just about them just living free and doing what they want to do because they live in the woods and they like to light fires. But I feel part of the uneasiness, is it? Uneasiness of it is the fact that that's mid 80s blue screen at the same time. So like even her, like if you watch that scene, you can tell that she's walking in front of a blue screen and they're doing their thing. And I feel like they're trying to overlap 3 different things on film. And so just looking at it visually looks weird.
Yeah, that's one scene. So my wife owns this movie on, I'm pretty sure she has it on VHS somewhere. She had it on DVD twice, Blu-ray once, and then 5 years ago, I bought her the 30th anniversary edition of Labyrinth on Blu-ray. And every time we watch this movie, that scene looks rough because there was so much going on there. They were so ahead of their time technology-wise. They were so ambitious with it that even today you can still see the flaws in it. But like I mentioned, I don't think I actually addressed this up front. I went to see this on the big screen for the first time this weekend as part of the 35th anniversary event with Fathom Events. It looked phenomenal on the big screen. Like, I don't know if it was another cut of the film that they did, but you could not see the seams anywhere. You could not see like any of those little issues at all on the big screen.
How was the overall experience seeing it in big screen?
I got a little panicked at first because we went with friend of the show, Chad. And so at the beginning, they showed a documentary, like just talking about the history of the creatures in the film and how they're preserving them at the Museum of Muppetry in Atlanta. And the documentary ends, and Chad leans over to me. He's just like, "Well, that was quick. It's time to go." And I was like, "Oh God!" It gave me flashbacks to when we saw The Hobbit in theaters with Chad, and you both know Chad, and you know how big of a Tolkien nut he is. Yeah. He was so giddy that day. Like I was like, I can't deal with this again. Like, but no, it was good. Like at one point when the owl's flying at the beginning. My wife started to tear up because she'd never thought she'd see this movie on the big screen. So it was just, it was really nice to just have her there, to see it. And I may have dozed off a few times, but not because of the movie itself, just because of the day before and everything. I was just tired and was trying not to, but it just happened.
Yeah, I mean, was it the one in Carlisle with the nice seats?
No, it was not that one. It was an AMC. So.
Got it.
The one out by Dave & Buster's. So beforehand, Chad and I went to Dave & Buster's.
Nice.
So.
That sounds like a really cool experience, though. Getting to see it on like the big screen. So I feel like I did the movie a bit of a disservice, like watching it, like in my living room, like while eating dinner, and then like just afterwards and stuff, like. I feel like it needs that like kind of grandiose like scope to it.
It definitely adds something to it, especially like being in a theater with people who obviously grew up with this movie, because we were probably the youngest people there.
Aww.
But yeah, it was a great experience, and they're doing the Transformers movie because I guess that's also having its 35th anniversary. And they showed the trailer for that. I leaned over to Chad just to give him a taste of his own medicine. I was like, "You think Shia LaBeouf's in that one?"
Good. So Ryan, when we were talking about music, it seemed like you didn't agree with my like take on the music. Do you like the music in this? And like, are you a Bowie fan? Which is a big question for me.
I do like David Bowie.
Okay.
I could do with a little bit of a less codpiece, personally.
Let me tell you, on the big screen, I'm just glad it wasn't a 3D screening. So,
getting poked in the eye.
Yeah. Need safety glasses underneath those 3D glasses. Yeah.
When it comes to music in movies, I actually appreciate when the actual score of a film sounds more like, I guess, like rock music to a point, like less orchestra, more like band, type. So whenever I was hearing like the music, I never thought there was going to be like a song starting, even when I was younger. But like, it's a Muppet movie. I shouldn't say Muppet. It's a Jim Henson movie. It's in the mid '80s. Quasi musical is just part of that thing. It's part of that niche. So whenever there was a song like the one that he's singing after she eats the peach that makes her forget what she's doing, and she's in like the party or whatever, like those are just straight up David Bowie songs. And I'm pretty sure that if it was Michael Jackson, that the songs would be more poppy.
Oh yeah.
Than what these were. So they just matched the music to match him. So I don't feel like they were like forcing the whole David Bowie thing. I just think that they wanted to stick with music that they know he's good at.
Got it. And if it makes you feel better, by the way, I found out that this movie was a musical 3 seconds before the movie started, because Romana looked it up and went, "This movie is a musical?" And I went, "Oh, I guess it's a musical." So to let you know, that was part of the mindset that I went into, because I knew nothing about this movie, including that. I mean, I should have guessed David Bowie sang, but I didn't know that David Bowie sang. Also, up until pressing play on this movie, I'm going to say, Romana thought we were watching Pan's Labyrinth. Because I asked her, I said, "Well, do you want to, I'm watching Labyrinth for this movie, or for the movie of the week this week. Do you want to watch it with me?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, I really want to watch that." I go, "Wow, great. I'm glad you're enthusiastic about this." And she was quite disappointed to find out that this was not the Guillermo del Toro film. So both of us were completely unaware of this movie.
I mean, the Fireys do that thing with the eyeballs in their hands. So, I mean...
Yeah.
That's true. It's almost the same thing.
Real quick, I just want to point out, Ryan, you do know that David Bowie wrote the songs for this, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
really?
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it fits.
Yeah, he wrote all of the songs for it with... I just had the page up. Arif Mardin. I don't know.
You know, I think your wife might have mentioned it 1 or 2 times when we used to talk about this.
Yeah.
But I just, I probably forgot.
So
but that makes sense, because
he wrote the song, so he was very involved in the production process of this with Jim Henson and George Lucas.
I would say maybe he didn't have any, input on the wardrobe, but then I remembered it's David Bowie and Ziggy Stardust, and that's probably what he wanted to wear. So I'm just gonna. He probably wore that every day in the 80s. He just rolled out of bed and put on those pants and went grocery shopping.
I loved all of his costume changes, by the way.
Devon, did you notice who wrote the screenplay for this?
I didn't. Who wrote the screenplay?
Terry Jones.
Who's
From
Terry Jones?
Monty Python.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is a weird amalgamation of everything 80s. So you've got Jim Henson, you've got George Lucas, you've got David Bowie, and you've got Terry Jones.
Yeah, that is really... I mean, here's the thing, is you can kind of tell, though. Like, because there are so many, like, good elements of this movie. And I feel bad for focusing on the one part that I didn't like, because there's so much in it that I do like. Like, I love all of the puppetry. I love, like, how unique a lot of the scenes are. Like, the part that made me go, "Oh, I really appreciate this," are the hands that would, like, come together to make the faces. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. It really says a lot for Jim Henson's creativity outside of the Muppets. Like, I would love to have seen what else he would have done going forward outside of Kermit and Miss Piggy. Based on this, I've never seen Dark Crystal, but I know there's been a continuation of that on Netflix, which I have. Ryan, have you seen that?
I saw the first episode. I liked it. I just never got to the point of watching any more of it.
Okay.
I confused these two, if it makes you feel better.
Oh, yeah?
Because halfway through, it was like, when do the bird things show up? And
I'm
Romana
going...
was like, that's a different thing.
I'm going to let that pass. I'm going to let that... I'm not going to get mad because, like I said, I'm going to let that pass for now because you didn't even know about this movie or what it was about. So
No.
that's
Okay.
I'm writing Dark Crystal down on my list, so
good.
It'll come up.
So here's something that I'm really genuinely curious about. What is the deal with David Bowie's character in this? Because there were a few times, like, what is his motivation? Because I know that, like, Jennifer Connelly, I guess, in the beginning was just, like, supposing if there's a Troll King, I would just have to say magic words and he would come take it away. So, like, my guess is she didn't know about the Troll King before. And then, like, she said the right things. He came, took the baby, and she's like, I regret it. And then he's like, it's my kid now. But also, I might love you. But it's my kid now. And then, like, she said, you have no power over me. And he's like, okay, we're good. And, like, I guess I didn't, it's my first watch. I was trying real hard to get the songs, and I didn't get the songs. So, like, if anyone could, like, explain to me what was going on with him.
Ryan, you want to take a stab at it?
Okay, so she says at the beginning that the Goblin King has been watching her because he's fallen in love with her. And that he will grant her whatever wish she wants if she says, this certain thing. And she's making it, and she says it 3 times, or she says it, takes her 3 attempts, and that's why the trolls are in the, on the other side of the mirror, holding their breath.
I liked that. I thought that was cool.
So the Goblin King, being David Bowie, who was born in 1947, has fallen in love with the actress in this that was born in 1980.
Neat.
So, and the way that I get around that is the fact that he's a fictional character. He's the Goblin King. It's David Bowie, so they're probably making it that he's, like, ageless or something, which I guess that throws that whole book out the window.
Now, hold on, though. So you are doing something that I didn't know the movie was doing, and you were saying that when Jennifer Connelly says, the Troll King or Goblin King fell in love with me, I thought she was just really into the book she was reading. And was just like it was like me when I was 12, and I would just keep doing this with my hand to see if webbing would come out, because maybe one day it would. Like, that's how I took her in the beginning of this movie, where she's just like, I love this book called Labyrinth, the Goblin King. I want to talk to my baby like that, like, or someone else's baby like that. Like, I didn't know that she knew about all of that up until this point.
Well, the way that I took that was, first off, I've never really cared to look at the book she was reading, so I had no idea that the book she was reading was called The Labyrinth.
Oh, sure.
So it could be that she is, that she really likes the Goblin King in the book, and she would want the Goblin King to fall in love with her until she actually meets the Goblin King, and then she realizes, I don't really like David Bowie that much. And she realizes, but that's what she says, and that's what his motivation is. And so that should kind of put into context that song that he's singing when they're at that ball, and she throws the chair at the mirror.
What song does he sing? I can't remember even a single word, and not because I'm being a jerk about this.
He's basically, it's like eyes, like lover's eyes or something like that, or kind of like seeing someone across a party or something.
Yeah, because that's kind
I
of
saw
what
the
happens
lyrics
on screen. Like, it's all kind of literal.
So, like, it's him trying to get to her at a party and he can't because there's so many people in the way type deal. But that puts that song more into context, which, again, fictional character, the girl's 16 years old.
Sure,
if she likes the character, it's whatever. But that's where his motivation's coming from. He wants to do something for her to show his love for her.
And he thinks it's at first taking the baby because she asked for it.
Yeah.
And then it's, just slowly getting frustrated that she's getting closer and closer.
I'm going to tell you, Coggle, if she kisses you, you're going to be the prince, the prince of stench.
So
he was jealous.
I've got a different take on this, and I think this is this is the intended take on this. It's a allegory for growing up. And she's fighting to protect her innocence. So, like, Toby is like a stand-in for like her like pretty much she wants to grow up. She wants to she, like, if Toby, if the baby is like her stand-in for virginity, she wants to be able to get past it and grow up, but then she fights to protect it. So I'm reading I have this article here in front of me that explains it a lot better than I just did.
Well, that's interesting. It makes me almost want to watch the movie again if it's all allegorical.
Yeah.
Because I guess I was just taking too much literal, or I was like, all right, fine, this is going to be a bit like Wizard of Oz. She's going to wake up at the end and she's like, it was all a dream. And you were there, statue next to my mirror. And you were there, MC Escher painting on my wall. And like I thought that was what it was going to be.
Well, and then if you look very closely at her room, all of the creatures that she meets are like in her stuffed animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a huge allegory thing going on here with maturity and growing up, and the older man trying to take away her innocence, and her fighting that. Yeah. Which for 1986 is very ahead of its time.
Right.
But yeah, so that's where the story's coming from, in that point of view.
I like that take a lot because it makes it like if you watched it, I feel like at a certain time, like especially if I was like, an adolescent or just growing up, like that would have hit home with me a lot more, I think. Because right now, the only thing rapidly approaching at the end of my Labyrinth is an AARP membership. And I don't want it.
You can get that now.
No, can I?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you can. No. You can join AARP whenever.
No thanks. I want it for free when I'm supposed to.
Oh, I don't think it costs much. I think it's like $10 for a lifetime membership or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just a free thing that like you turn 55 and like here's your card. It doesn't work that way.
That's literally what I thought it was. By the way, I'm not joking or trying to be funny. I thought you turned 55 and it came in the mail.
No.
Well,
not when you live in Britain anyway. Like,
I mean, yeah, that's true.
All right, $12 for the first year.
Wow, that's almost, they're giving it away.
I joke that that's what I'm gonna get my wife for her Christmas is just an AARP membership.
That's so mean.
I mean, Kristen and I have the pre AARP thing going because we've been AAA members for almost 17 years now.
Wow.
Like I had one. Like when I got a AAA membership when I started driving, even before, and the same thing with her.
That's impressive. I think it's the longest I've heard that.
It's only $63 for a 12-year membership, or 5-year membership.
Membership, it pays for itself.
Yeah,
we're losing money not getting it, guys.
We are.
We are.
You have to watch this podcast.
Think of all the discounted
AARP.
Coffees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, back to Labyrinth.
Yeah, right.
So one thing, like we just touched on all of the animals being in her room and then like being in the labyrinth. If that was your room and you were pulled into a labyrinth, what kind of creatures or what characters would you have seen in the labyrinth if you were pulled in?
Hold on, what age is this?
Anywhere from age 8 to 13. Let's go 13.
Okay.
For me, it'd be pretty much what I have now. So like Power Rangers, Batman, I guess Small Soldiers.
It basically would have been like Space Jam 2. In your movie.
Kinda, yeah. Brought to you by Fox. If there was a Space Jam equivalent of Fox Kids, then yes, that's what it would be.
Good. Oh man, for me it was. This is such a dumb little fact about me. For most of my adolescence, I had a concrete statue of a dog in my room. It was supposed to be an outdoor decoration. I bought it and took it inside and had it in every room that I have, or every room that I had from like 8 until basically 13. I don't know why I had it, but that would have been a major part of it.
Do I remember this thing?
He was in the basement.
Okay.
You probably remember
I vaguely
him in the
remember
corner
it.
of the basement.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in the corner of the basement. I also had a Mickey Mouse plush, the little sorcerer Mickey, and I had a Mushu one too. So it would have been those as well. And then I had a disembodied Vader helmet that was also a piggy bank. So it would have been that too.
Ryan?
So...
Oh, gosh.
It's going to be a really strange mixture. So... The original Ninja Turtles.
Great.
Okay. It would, like, cars, tanks, airplanes, micro machines, Hot Wheel heaven. I mean, okay. So, Turtles with cars and military vehicles. With a cross-section of just, like, athletes.
Okay.
So
Football, baseball players.
So a little
like,
Space Jam type thing.
Yeah, so, I mean, it would have been a weird thing of having, like, I don't know, cars would turn into people and they would split off and have some type of weird sport thing going on between, like, athletes and the Ninja Turtles playing against micro machines. I don't know. I don't know.
Picturing Mad Max Fury Road right now.
Pretty much. I mean,
just Donatello shouting, "Worship me!"
Yeah, spraying pizza flavored spray
pizza
paint.
Mix. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, spraying pizza mix on his face.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh my gosh. So, Alan, I wanted to know what is so like. This is going to sound confrontational, and it's not meant to be. This is just genuine. Like, I didn't grow up on this movie. What about this movie does Anna find so special, so precious? And then the same for you, Ryan. Like, what does your wife find so special and precious about it? Like, why do they love it so much?
I don't want to put words in my wife's mouth, but I'll do the best to guess why she loves Labyrinth so much. Okay. I think it's just her happy place. I think she enjoys every aspect of the film, the characters. Like, I think she just fell in love with him at a young age and enjoys him still to this day, and it just puts her in her happy place.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that right? That's fair. Yeah.
Well done. Ryan, what about you?
When it comes to Kristen and I, we kind of grew up with this kind of the same way. Like, we both saw it in school. So our experience with it was, a surprise day of no schoolwork to do. We just get to sit here and watch a movie. So, I mean, it's that kind of like, it's a movie that brings about, that's always meant like a pause. You know, like, everything in life gets kind of stopped for a minute, and then this movie's part of that. Got it. And then over the years, it's just gaining that appreciation for David Bowie's music and having that aspect of it. As I learn more about Jim Henson and the other stuff that he's done, appreciating the artwork of it. And it's kind of the same, like, it's not really, like, there are other movies that her and I would consider more of our happy place movies. But this one's definitely, like, towing on that side of the fence.
Well, that makes sense then.
So,
yeah, I can definitely see, because the movie itself does have like a good, very consistent tone and direction, and like it does kind of make you feel like it's a very cohesive world that you're in, even when like it kind of drastically changes from like, the dirty looking labyrinth to now it's the green labyrinth. It all is like very consistent in the way it's presented.
Yeah.
And then you have the fart labyrinth.
Yeah, I'm really glad this wasn't presented in smell-o-vision.
Oh gosh! Oh, I wish it was. That would have been cool.
I mean,
Log of stench.
I've got the card for it. I can tell you which one that was going to smell like. I still have that card, so.
I didn't know they made those.
Oh, not for Labyrinth, just for that other movie. But I can give you. If you want that experience, I'll send it with Chad for your wedding.
Yes, good.
I already gave him some stuff for you, so. Well, one thing that you know about. He's probably playing with it right now, and that's why he's not on the in the chat.
I bet he is, knowing him.
Anything else Labyrinth-wise we want to talk about before we wrap this up?
I had one question for you guys.
Yes.
You guys have seen it already. Is there one effect, one monster, one puppet, one visual anything that either A, still gets you guys and you still find impressive despite having seen it over and over again, or like just one that's your favorite, like you see and you're like, yeah, it's that thing?
For me, it's the crystal ball at the beginning with the hands.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you could tell. That's not David Bowie doing it. There's a guy standing behind David Bowie. You remember in Whose Line Is It Anyway where they would do the thing where Colin Mock would be Ryan Stiles' arms?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what they did. They had a guy behind David Bowie who's a juggler doing this. So he's doing it blind. And just the fact that you can do that blind and it looks so good on camera is amazing to me. Wow. But there's footage of it behind the scenes, and they had to do it a few times. But just knowing that bit of trivia, it's kind of like the pink shorts guy doing the sound for Star Wars. Like, once you know that, once you know how that sausage is made, that's all you think about when you see that. So that whole scene, like I'm watching the ball and just realizing there's a guy like ducked down behind David Bowie. Yeah.
That was well done. I had no idea.
Well, there's so much to that costume, too. It's really easy to hide something like that.
It's fair, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, how about
you? You have a thing you like?
I've got... So my favorite, like, animated character in this, or puppet character, is the worm at the beginning. Like, don't go that way. Don't go that way. If she would have went that way, if she would have went that way, she would have gone straight to the castle. Like, that whole thing to me is hysterical. And then that just the worm, because he's so cute, because he's wearing a scarf. Like, it's a caterpillar wearing a scarf. I mean, you know. But my favorite moment in the movie is when she's putting she's using her lipstick to put arrows on the ground.
Oh yeah.
And the little miniature person like comes up and like flips it around and like yells at her. Mm-hmm. The reason why that's my favorite is I've watched this movie for years, and I didn't realize until like maybe 4 years ago that what that character is actually saying is really audible, and it's real lines. It's not just gibberish. Oh. And I saw on the bottom, on the closed caption at the very end, he says, "Your mother's an aardvark."
I don't think I got that one.
So that's my favorite line of the movie, believe it or not, is "Your mother's an aardvark," like said in anger.
That's a good freaking line. Mine, I guess, are more basic than that. So the first one is I really liked after the worm part where he was like, "Hey, you could just go that way." And she's like, "Where? It's a wall." He goes, "No, that way." And like she like walks backwards and the wall isn't a wall. Like that hurt my brain for a half a second watching it. I was like, what is she doing just going? So like that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also really liked Door Robot. Where like the doors closed and Robot and then Robot came. He was awesome. Like that was such a cool effect.
I think he's still, and I might be wrong on this, but he is still the largest puppet / animatronic used for a feature film.
Wow. How big was he like for real?
I have no idea.
Because I mean, he looked like it had to have been a big animatronic.
I mean, I think what you see on screen is what he was. So
wow.
compared to her, my favorite door thing are the door knockers.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They did the documentary at the beginning talked a bit about them being made out of foam and how they kept them restored and. Like how they made them because they give them to give them that bronze finish and like the real look of a door knocker was tricky and like it's amazing. Like just the whole art of puppetry is baffling to me. Like the way they they make some of this stuff is just amazing. But yeah.
I have officially one incredibly Devon take on this. And I just want to hear I want to hear you guys hate me for it. So I'm just going to say, I've been debating bringing it up all podcast. So this came out 3 years after Empire Strikes Back. I looked. I feel like, didn't it? Or am I wrong?
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I had that. So anyway, as long as in my timeline, Yoda and the Wampa are things when this, after this, or before this movie came out, because two of the characters look like Yoda, or one of the characters looks a little bit like Yoda, and one of them looks like a bit like the Wampa. If Jim Henson went, I will not be outdone, and just decided to do that thing but better. I genuinely got Yoda vibes from main guy that they kept calling Hogwarts.
Hoggle?
Hoggle, that's it.
You got Yoda vibes from Hoggle?
It wasn't even just me. I was like, he's a bit Yoda about a lot of this stuff that he's doing. And Romano was like, I'm glad you said something. And then she kept comparing him a bit more than I did. But I definitely got vibes from Hoggle.
Well,
is there something in the water in Britain?
Well,
excuse you.
Okay.
It's all tea in the taps here.
You realize Yoda was designed by the same people who designed all of this stuff, right?
Well, absolutely. Well, that's part of it. Like, was it Frank? It wasn't Frank Oz, was it?
Frank Oz is involved in this, but he didn't design the character.
But I mean, it's all the same people.
It's all the same people. Yeah, Frank Oz is in here as somebody.
Yeah, and the big tall thing that roars.
The wise man.
He's the wise man. Okay. Was it Ludo? Was his name? The big tall roaring one.
Yeah.
He looked like a Wampa with the horns in a different place, and a longer tail.
Well,
I mean, there's only so much you can do for large beastie characters.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and granted, like, this isn't like, at no point did this take me out of the movie and me go, well, I'm not certainly on board because he reminds me of another fictional character, and that one looks too much like another thing. Like, it wasn't even that. Those were just like my like crappy one takes where I was like, I wonder if they're just improving on stuff they did earlier.
And I mean, George Lucas was involved in this too, and
he was a producer, right?
Yeah, he was a producer, and he refused to be interviewed about it because he didn't want to take the spotlight away from Jim Henson.
Oh, so, good for him.
Yeah.
I got this sense that they were like, okay, these two characters worked in other things. We're gonna make them better and make them better mains here.
See, I get the beast thing. Mm-hmm. What you're saying there, I can see it. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole Yoda Hoggle thing. Like that just doesn't.
I think it might be like the weird shuffly way that he walks, and how like his English is just a bit different. Like he speaks a little bit differently than like it's not like conversational English. It's like Hoggle English.
Yeah, but I mean, Yoda was never like a suit that somebody wore and
he was
walked around in.
Puppet.
Because that head is full of metal and wires and cabling, so that thing's heavy. So anybody walking in that costume is going to waddle a little bit.
Hold on, Hoggle?
Waddle. They're going to waddle a little bit.
No, sorry. Hoggle was like I don't know the mechanics of Hoggle. To my dumb brain, it just looked like like they hired like a 5-year-old. And they were like, just say these lines and like hobble around silly. Is he like actually like a bit of a puppet?
That whole head is animatronic.
I had no idea.
There's so many cables and wires in that thing.
See, and this is the stuff I like to learn about this stuff, like how clever that is.
Yeah, so I mean that headpiece was incredibly heavy. So anybody wearing that was going to look like that trying to walk anywhere.
Well, I also think they built it into his character, though, because like it was a bit of like an exaggerated kind of like walk that he was doing too. Like his leg would kick like all the way out. So like,
yeah,
to their credit, they built it into the character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's a little person playing him with a mask.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. The actress.
Because I know for like the Ewoks, it was a mix of like little people and like 4-year-olds.
The actress's name was Sherry Weiser.
Oh.
To me, he looks like. Did you ever see Power Rangers Turbo Power Rangers movie? The little wizard thing at the beginning of that has to come to Earth and they have to go rescue, and then like he looks like one of those things.
That's fun. Oh, yep, I agree. I just saw it.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm with you.
So, since we brought up George Lucas, we're going to play a game now. George Lucas had 2 other projects in the year 1986 that he produced. Can you guys name them? They are not Star Wars related.
Indiana Jones related?
No.
That's one that was my one
No,
guess.
that's
No.
Somebody else.
American Graffiti was before Star Wars, wasn't it?
Yes.
No, I don't. I genuinely
I'll give
can't.
you a hint. One of them was a feature at Walt Disney parks.
Captain EO?
Captain EO is one of them.
Captain what?
Captain EO, the Michael Jackson
It was a
musical thing.
ride experience extravaganza, Captain EO.
Was that long music video
Yeah.
where he turns into a car?
Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
you got it.
That's the name of it?
Captain EO, yeah.
That's the name of the film, like
Captain-
the music video thing.
Yeah, Captain
That was even a
EO.
ride at Disneyland
Yeah.
because you like went into this like darkened theater and like watched Michael
It was a
Jackson for that
4D show.
I had no idea that was named that.
And the other one, Howard the Duck.
long. No. Hold on, was Jim Henson at all involved in the Howard the Duck costume?
That's a good
I wouldn't
question.
be surprised and would actually want to watch the movie now.
Have you never seen Howard the Duck?
Never.
Oh man, we're not doing that for the show.
We can't. No, thank you.
It's so bad. That's a good
I
question.
figured it was going to be one of those moments where you're like, we're doing it next week, or we're like, no, we're not touching it.
No, we need to take a break from making you watch things you've never seen because that's all we've been doing lately.
Well, I mean, I'm not mad about it because a lot of these are movies I have genuinely wanted to see. Like, Labyrinth has been circling around my, like, sphere of consciousness for so long that, like, it's the same with Muppet Treasure Island. I just need to watch it.
So you haven't seen Muppet Treasure Island yet?
I have not, no.
Okay. All right. One more. We'll play another game here.
Okay.
David Bowie is known for 3 feature films on IMDb. Labyrinth is one of them. What are the other 2?
He was in a space thing, wasn't he?
Not.
Maybe not his main ones then.
That's probably the 4th one. The Man Who
Okay.
Fell to Earth.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Okay. What else was Bowie in?
These are both from after the year 2000.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, was he a voice actor in something animated?
These are both live action.
Then I'm at a loss. Do you know, Ryan?
I can't name them.
The first one is Zoolander.
Oh yeah, that's right.
he
'cause
judges
he's the judge in the runway walk off.
Phenomenal.
The other is Christopher Nolan's The Prestige, where he plays Nikola Tesla.
I forgot that was him.
That's right.
He's so good in that.
Yeah.
That one scene.
I mean,
He's
He
in more
sold
than
me.
one scene.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
And
Don't
doesn't
joke
sing
don't joke
once.
to me about The Prestige. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Nolan movie.
That's fine if it's one of your favorite movies, but still, compared to every other actor that's in that movie, he's practically only in 4 minutes of it.
Well, you're not watching closely. Get it? All right, I think that does it for our Labyrinth episode. I think it's back to Devon's turn next week. So, Devon, remind us? What are you going to have us watch?
All right, so this is based on my Portal pick. One of the actors, of which there are some great actors in the game Portal 2. I decided to choose one, and it's J.K. Simmons. He does a movie that I wanted to talk to you two about for the longest time because I want your take on a lot of specific parts of it. So I have very specific loaded conversation for this next episode, but we're going to watch Whiplash next week.
Okay.
And I want to hear what you guys think.
I've seen it before.
Okay, good. And
So-
Ryan, you haven't, right?
Nope.
Okay, good. Because I am so curious to hear if, my read on the movie is just a dumb Devon take and like don't worry about it, or like is this genuinely what the movie's trying to say? And in that case, ew.
Okay. All right. Well, you can catch that here live next Tuesday. Before then, Devon will be live again playing Portal on our Twitch channel. What did you get your time down to yesterday? I forget.
So I got it down to 47 minutes. My goal for the challenge is 30 minutes. So I have to knock another, 17 minutes off of it. I just downloaded the official kit, like the official speedrunning kit for it today. I have like the cool little like sidebar timer now, so I know how long everything takes me. I am so legit, guys. It's going to happen.
Okay. Well, make sure to follow us here on Twitch so you can catch that. I think at some point you and I need to play the Portal meets Halo game that is Splitgate because it is awesome. And it's like, if you want to get on the ground floor of the next Fortnite, this might be it.
Is it like that? Is it Battle Royale?
No, it's like Team Deathmatch in Halo.
Oh, cool.
But it's so much fun with the portals. Like I'm having a blast with it. I'm probably going to play that as soon as I get off of here. So follow us on Twitch for that. We will also be doing some fun stream stuff with Victims and Villains in the next month or so. So make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram to find out more about that. You can also listen to this episode and all of our other episodes of our podcast on all major podcasting platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible is one that we never talk about. We're on Audible, guys.
We're on Audible?
Yeah, and you don't need to spend your credits.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. All right, so until next time, where Devon has us watch Whiplash for You Have to Watch This Podcast, I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devon.
And we'll see you next time.